because I want you, and yes, I do mean you, to live your best life too. What's up, beautiful people, to another episode of the Pursuit of Destiny podcast. It's me, Ricky Jones Jr., back again what seems like too long. However, I have an opening question I want to ask you all, which will have to do with this here podcast episode. And the question is, have you ever wondered why it seems like other people have cheat codes to life that makes them and equips them and enables them to do things faster, quicker, and what seems like the impossible they are able to make possible? Like, have you ever wondered, like, how does that happen? Why does that happen to them? And how do I get that to happen to me? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this episode is going to unlock that and openly talk about it in a way that will let you know how other episodes will flow. And so, like I said, it's been a while, okay? I looked at the last podcast that I've done, and that was back in April, right? So we missed the whole month of May. Now we're in the month of June, in which we'll talk about that on the next episode, why different things have come up. However, to get to the opening question, it all has to do with your past experience, how your past experiences will allow for and equip you for your present day circumstances. And so what does that look like? What does that mean? In the absence that I have been in, I've just been praying and talking to God about what we're going to do with this podcast, how it's going to flow, what's going to be next, and what impact we can make, because a lot of different things are happening in my life. And it's one of the main things that God was saying is, no, use the journey to tell the story. Use the journey to give impact. Use the journey to make impact. Use the journey to give keys to other people on how to live their best lives. And so in essence, you may be like, okay, what does all this mean? How does all this come together? Well, I'm glad you're still here. Largely because in my life, my wife, and my kids' lives, we are moving to Johannesburg, South Africa. And upon telling a lot of people, they're either shocked, surprised, right? And the main question that comes to me is like, why? Why are you going? And here is, again, my life journey, in essence, that allows for me to just make this decision and make Crystal and I allow for us to make the decision just like that. It's largely because of our past experiences and hearing from God. God shared with me that we should move to Johannesburg, South Africa. I waited a little bit just to make sure that was what I was hearing. I was hearing correctly before I told Crystal. And upon telling her, she was like, let's go. Like, not even knowing, she's never been, and it's like, let's go. I've never been to Johannesburg, South Africa, prior to finding out that we're going to make this move. But I've been to the country of South Africa. But anyway, what does all this mean? What does all this look like? Well, we heard from God about we need to move. We said, okay, that's what we're going to do. How were we able to make such a radical, immediate decision? Because of our past interactions with hearing from God. Looking over my life, I've spent time with God, and even from making moves to different schools from high school. Starting back in high school, I made a move out of a different school from another school because things weren't cool. I just wanted to rhyme. But anyway, that's just what that was, right? But then even going over to college, I was at a school and I wasn't living right. I knew I wasn't doing right, and I don't want to continue that trend in my life because I knew that wasn't going to end well. And so I was like, God, I need to get out of here. I need to go somewhere else. And then a neighbor across the hall came over talking about LSU. And I was like, wait a minute, God, is this where I should go? Applied and went. On the way to visit not Johannesburg, but to visit LSU, God was like, this is where I want you to be. Your life is going to change for the better, and you're only going to go up from here. And all of that came true, right? So that was a thing. Graduated from LSU, came back home because I had the desire to be a chaplain in the military. And so I came back home to be with my dad at the church there while also going to seminary school. And upon going to seminary school, came in contact with Crystal a week or two after meeting Crystal. God was like, that's your wife. 2 weeks in knowing this girl, barely even knowing this girl, pretty much knew her name. I knew what classes she had, and I knew what school she went to prior to going to seminary school. That's all I knew about her. God said, this is your wife? Say less, God. This is my wife. I sat her down. Crystal, God said that you're gonna be my wife. You're my wife. She looked at me and said, I already know. And then we was on the track to becoming husband and wife. And man, at that point, I was pretty much sold. this is my wife. And so all that to say, like, boom, that was that. God said to move to Tampa after graduating from seminary school, as opposed to we were gonna move to Maryland, quite honestly. But God was like, no, go to Tampa. I want you to move to Tampa. And we moved to Tampa. Phenomenal decision. So many great benefits out of making that move prior to making other moves. Not saying Maryland wasn't good. However, it was so much more good out of moving down to Tampa because of the experiences that we had, the times that we shared, and the opportunities that we did partake in with Crystal and her father and all that good stuff. And so now we're at the point where we've also made in between moves, from opening businesses to hearing to God about different things each and every year and making the necessary. It's just amazing how you can look back on things and see how you are now and where you are now based off of what you were told to do before. However, we have the cheat code to say go, because we've had the experiences prior to this go opportunity with God before. Crystal was in Maryland and God said to go to get her seminary degree. And so it had her to come back to Mercer. She was in Maryland, moved to Atlanta to go to Mercer. The same time I transferred to Mercer from another school because their accreditation was a little rocky. And I overheard the conversation of two people in the library. And I was like, I can't graduate from a school that's not accredited for me to become a chaplain. So I made the move, boom shakalaka, made the move to Crystal, and we are here where we are now together. 9 years and married, actually. Was on the 6th. But anyway, all that to say how our past experiences created for an easy decision today. And that's what happens with other people. They're able to do things quickly. They're able to make moves. They're able to make decisions. They're able to have levels of success that they may have termed to be success, or you may think of as success as you look to them. However, they're able to do those things because of the things that they have done before, right? The definition of insanity is to do the same things expecting different results. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been doing things that are contrary to the growth or the space or the place that you may see yourself being or where you want to see yourself, you can't expect to get to that place because you're doing things that are pulling you away from those things, right? And when you get the opportunity to take this step or make the move or make the change, you have to believe it in yourself that that is the thing that you should do, that either you heard correctly, you feel correctly, or just move with the desires that you have, because the desires that you have will point you to the destiny that's already been prepared for you. And so all that to say, great people, that is the reason why and the way how people have those cheat codes. And like I said, throughout the ongoings of this here podcast, we're going to be interviewing people. We'll be talking to people. We'll be hearing from people about their life journeys and their life stories. And we'll be able to mine out the keys to success of living your best life, right? Through how they are living their best life. I hope, pray, and desire for you to be able to see yourself in them, even if it's for a sentence or a moment or a story, and be able to see yourself in them and to be able to have the keys to living your best life, because that is all that Crystal and I desire for all that we come in contact with. We want people to live their best life, right? We already know the way to doing so is living a purposeful life, meaning you are living out the reason and intent for your creation in life here on earth. That's what purpose is in a nutshell. However, oftentimes people aren't doing so because they're either been talked out of it, they've been talked down, said that they weren't worth anything or invaluable or they weren't worthy of anything, which is a lie. And so people will take on those things rather than tapping into the real thing, which is on the inside of them, and to find out what it is for them to do and allow for their past experience to allow for them and build them up to be able to do what is necessary in the present as they look forward to the future. So all that to say, great people, I'm so excited because I just been, in my absence, I haven't been neglecting doing anything. There's been a lot going on. We'll talk about, like I said, in the next podcast, but with it, I've been talking with God, and God's been giving me clarity and direction on where we should go, how we should do this, how we should do that. And the podcast isn't going to stop because we are living in Johannesburg, South Africa. More than anything, it's going to grow and prosper because there will be more people that will have the opportunity to share their story and give us a glimpse on how we too can live our best lives through the testimonies, the trials, the tribulations, and the victories that others have had throughout their lives. And I know we can all grow and be better together because we can all learn and grow from other people's life stories, because we're all human, right? And as humans, we all share commonalities. And through telling our stories, telling your story, you will connect with other people in their story and allow for them to live better because of you doing better. So I'm so excited, right? Don't think I've been dormant. I have not. I've been wondering how to relaunch this thing, which is not really a relaunch because it's only been a little bit over a month. But I just been excited on how to get this going. As y'all can see, if you're watching on YouTube, I don't have my mic because that's packed up. A lot of things are packed up in our home. We've sold our home, but I'm not going to get into it. We're going to talk about in the next episode, what's been going on and all that good stuff. However, all this to say, ladies and gentlemen, we back. Okay, and I'm going to have a bunch of episodes coming up where we are interviewing people, talking with people about them living their best lives, because I want you, and yes, I do mean you, to live your best life too. And ultimately and hopefully we'll be able to talk together on this here podcast to find out different keys that you've learned along your way to get you to the day that you're able to say, I'm living my best life. So great people, I love you all. I appreciate you all. Thank you for rocking with your boy, coming back, knowing that more content is on the way, and know that I've been thinking about you, and I hope you've been thinking about me too. I've been praying for you. I've been praying with you in mind. Let me say it that way. I haven't been praying specifically for you because I don't know specifically who you are, but I've been praying with you in mind to make sure that content is delivered so that you too can live your best life. So until the next episode, great people, I love you all. I appreciate you all. I will see you there on YouTube, or you can hear me on your favorite podcast platform. Until then, great people, peace.